Welcome back, everybody. This is Jason Secrest. We are on video number 3 of our Boys vs. Girls, and we are going to have a nice little time cleaning up all of our lines. We are going to add on our custom brushes, and life is going to be nice and clean in a very few seconds. For those of you that have been waiting and all of this overlapping has been driving you nuts, that is what we are going to clean up right now. So let's have some fun. So in the last 2 videos, the first video we built the girl, second video we built the guy, and what we are going to need right now is our brushes. So just come on over to the right hand side, click on your brush window. If you do not see the little brushes, just come over to window and then just drop down until you see brushes. So anytime you don't see anything over here, just understand that it is going to be under Windows, and then we are going to drop on down to Other Library. So notice I'm on the bottom. Bottom is your Brush Libraries menu, and if you are following along with us, you have already more than likely gone over to jasonsecrest.com, and then you have already gotten all of your resources. So what we are going to need is our cartoon brushes. I am going to be just using cartoon brushes today, and then I just click on open, and then poof, there they are. That's how easy it is. So if you needed to download those, just click on pause, drop on over to Dropbox, and then just download them, and they'll be ready to go. So all of these are already built for us. So let's just show you this process. Super easy. What we are looking to do is, if I click on some brushes or just any of these strokes, if I click on any of these, what I am looking for is that when things start touching, I want them to get nice and thick. As the ends float out in space, that is where you would want it to taper. So let's just grab those two. I'm going to go pretty heavy with some of this brush work today. So again, as I add these on, I am just looking to see if I need to change and or modify anything. This is just a circle. I think I'm just going to go up. This is where things are just going to start to all meld in together. And so notice that I have some that are thick and some that are just in the same, it's basically the exact same brush, it's just in the opposite direction. And that's just so we can flip it back and forth. So if the fat end is floating out where we don't want it, usually I can just grab it and then flip over to the other one. I'm going to grab both of these. These are going to be fat on both ends. And I might go to 4. And I've been just on that black arrow. Anytime I need to move an anchor, I am moving over to my white arrow. Shortcut is A. And some of you are saying, Jason, you promised that it was going to get cleaner. It's going to get cleaner. This is our full-fledged ugly phase right now. I am just going to take these two and I'm just going to bump them up. So I'm not going to do anything to them. Most of this is going to get filled in. I am just going to take a little segment here. I'm going to hold down Shift, and that's nice and straight. So as you can kind of see that as we start adding on some of the thicknesses, that we can modify a little bit. Alright, I am going to grab these. Let's just finish up the hair, and then we'll come in and do the face. I want that to get fat by the underneath that bow. Finish this little girl up. Let's do fat on both ends. I'm just going to flip it. Let's try 2. I'm actually okay with that. I want this to be tapered on both sides. Same thing, tapered on both sides. And I think I want both of those to go to 2. And anytime you see these little corners, we are going to do that in the very next step. I just want those to be tucked in. We are going to come in and clean up some of these little bumps. I'm going to go Shift X. I'm going to go Shift X, and then I want to change that to white. These can all be, I think I'll do fat on both ends for that one. Again, I notice that those little corners, just grabbing my white arrow and just tucking them a little bit past. So what we're going to actually do with this video is I'm going to finish her up so you can see the process, and then we'll do the guy as well. So anytime we are doing our brushes, just be aware that I'm just, especially since we've added on some thicknesses, just double check, hey, our line's a little bit long. Yours might look a little bit different just depending on where your anchors are. So why we want it long is we wouldn't want it to look short. It'll have a little funky little edge, and it is going to be a little bit easier if everything is longer rather than short. So just be aware. I know some things are getting busy, but as long as everything's a little bit long, your life is going to be totally fine. Alright, that looks good. Now I am going to let's just grab her, duplicate this one out. I'm just going to lock that out since we are going to be expanding here. Now I am going to grab all of her. I do not need any of that. I'm just double checking that nothing else is being selected. That looks good. So I'm going to go to Object Expand, and I'm going to do it one more time. So I expand Appearance and then expand. Usually this little pop-up is what you're looking for, and that's just going to make sure that all of our stroke work that we added on, so anything that we didn't add a brush to, is actually been expanded. More than likely we'll do 2 cleanup phases, and the easiest one is I'm on my black arrow, I just select the shape, and if I go Shift E is my eraser tool. So now that we have all these ugly overlaps, I can just come in and just get rid of any of that overlap. Shift E, I want all that to be down here. Let's just tuck that in right there. So just start with a shape that makes sense, and then just come in and say, hey, that shouldn't be overlapped. And we are just hiding all of these within the lines themselves. So just notice that I select everything first, black arrow. I'm just doing Shift E, and then I just clean everything up. So it'll look like I'm deleting things, but I am just deleting the one that I am selected. So just double check that you are just selecting and then coming through and deleting. Alright, so that's option number 1. It is very user friendly. Let's do option number 2. So option number 2 then I have been using more frequently. I'm just going to come over. Looks like I have everything. The other option is a little bit with Pathfinder. And I come over to Pathfinder. If you don't see it, I don't know if it's actually in the Essentials Classic, so just go over to Window, click on Pathfinder. I'm going to come down where it says Divide, and I'm just going to click on Divide. Nothing really happened, but what it does is any of those overlaps, it basically does a little snip. The only little catch with this is we have to ungroup. So if I click off, I want to be able to just select each one of these by itself. Alright, so I will already tell you someone forgot to do the ungroup, and you'll figure out real quick, because let's say if I want to just do this, then I just point, click, delete. Super easy. So all of that overlapping we can get rid of. Now you might notice that there's some little random strays. Just come on in, magic wand, grab any of those, and I'm just going to leave that for right now, just because it's going to grab everything. But we are going to delete those before we move on to our live paint. So why we wanted to go a little bit long is these are a lot easier to grab if they're long. So I can just fly through, I can actually be zoomed out a little bit more, and I can just delete, 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 and it's super rapid fast as I'm going through. Alright, she is all done. And that is it. I'm going to say File, Save. We are going to move on to the next one where we're going to color, and then we'll be ready to basically complete it. We'll do some halftones, and we'll do some more with texture in the very last video. So the next 2 are going to be a pretty quick little short ones since we did all of the hard stuff in the first 3. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.